Good morning. Yesterday in my sermon, I was telling you about Michael J. Fox. And I didn't have time to really share with you all the different things that I'd been really learning about him and thought it was kind of fascinating. I wanted to share with some of you this morning. Michael J. Fox was born up in uh, Alberta, Canada. He grew up there. In fact, he was 15 years old when he wound up being in a local television show called Leo and Me. It was focused there in Canada. Just kind of an aside, is fascinating that four of the cast members all would develop Parkinson's disease. They've not been able to figure that one out. That was at 15 years old. When he was 20 years old, he got his part, Alex Keaton, on Family Ties, kind of the Reaganite son who was with hippie parents, and that was a huge success. Turned out that he got that part, it would run for 7 years. It was on that set that he would meet Tracy Pollan, who would ultimately become his wife. She played the part of his girlfriend, Ellen, there on Family Ties. It was such a great run. And while he was doing it from 1982 to 1989, the movie they decided to shoot was Back to the Future. The director of Family Ties didn't want him to do it. He was so busy, and they counted on him to really carry the show. But in the end, they finally relented, and so he got the part. And what he would do is he'd come into the studio from about 10 until 6 to shoot Family Ties, and then after 6 o'clock, he would run to the movie set, and they would shoot until 2:30 a.m. That's how hard he put it in. And sure enough, Back to the Future came out, and it'd make over $380 million. It was a huge success, and it led to Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3, and it just became a wonderful success. And I still always think of him as Marty McFly. Such incredible talent, such success, and yet when he was 29 years old, they diagnosed him with Parkinson's disease. So young. It really sent him into a spiral. Led him very much to being depressed. He started drinking way too much. He lived a number of years in real depression. And finally, he got help and realized he had something to live for. It's when he, in the end, gave up drinking. He said it saved my marriage. In the end, he began to dig out and realize that he had so much for which to be grateful. He became incredibly optimistic. He became a spokesman for Parkinson's disease, realizing he had something still to do with his life. He wrote several books, and as I say, he made such a difference, helping to try to foster, looking for the solution, the cure to Parkinson's. But it was in 2018, he developed a tumor on his spine. It was non-cancerous. He went and had surgery for it because he was in such enormous pain. It was a very dangerous surgery. And in the end, after the surgery was over, he would have to spend 4 months learning how to walk again. Now, that's how when you're learning how to walk while you have Parkinson's disease. He was moving in the right direction. He was back at home in their apartment in New York City. He was going to be shooting a cameo in a Spike Lee film. He was all by himself that morning when he got up, and he fell. And it was such a hard fall. It broke his arm. He would have to have 19 screws to repair his arm. And while he was lying there on the floor with his arm broken, he just felt so in despair. It came overwhelming him again. How can I stay optimistic? How can I focus into the future? The arm was repaired. The back was not damaged from the surgery, now with the fall. And he began to fight his way back again. And I want to read you what he had to say. It was after all of that was taking place and he felt in such despair again that he dug out again and he said, I've learned that optimism is really rooted in gratitude. Optimism is sustainable when you keep coming back to gratitude. And what follows from that is acceptance. It's learning that not everything that happens to you is wonderful, but if you can accept it by being grateful, then you will find hope. You and I, as we start this year, are very grateful for the gift of God's grace that came in the form of a baby in Bethlehem. And so today we continue to think about how blessed we are by God's grace, and it opens your eyes to all that is around you, so that we're able to accept our life even when it isn't perfect in exactly the way we want. We can accept because we are grateful and we find hope. This week, I encourage you, start every day with that prayer of gratitude so that you and I, going into 2021, can truly be the people of hope. Have a great day.